You are about to see institutions of free speech in your country and your world lost before your eyes. You are about to see the likes of which you could never imagine. I did some videos on red pill moments. Red pill moments. That's part of our world. Red pill moments. These moments of awakening, realization. This idea, which of course is this profound reality shift in one's perspective, one's beliefs, one's faith system. Remember The Matrix, 1999, red pill moment, Neo, Morpheus. The red pill symbolizes a willingness to see and to accept the harsh and brutal realities of the world, of the way things are, even if they're uncomfortable, challenging, whatever. In popular culture and in our world is when you understand, when you accept the concept that you've adopted to accept questions regarding mainstream narratives, governmental narratives, and the like norms. This is what's critical. This is where we are today. This is, in many respects, this will be people's red pill moment. What you're seeing right now, this defies everything. I have never seen in my life ever an event. There's been problems, obviously terrible problems in Israel. 5.7 thousand miles away from New York. Just there have been problems, absolute problems. First Intifada, second Intifada, yes, but not like this. Why is this different? Why? And look what they're doing to free speech. Look what they're doing to free speech. Look. You aware of this? They want to take it away from you. They want to take it away from you for your own good. They don't want you to become alarmed. They want to take all the stuff away from you. That could be bad. That could be construed as bad. They want to take it away from you. Oh, my friends, my dear friends, you sit back. You sit back. We're going to talk tonight. We're going to go nuts tonight. We're going to have some of the best fun there is, talking about some of the most serious situations and the demise, the end, the truncation, the ruination, the finale, the denouement of what we used to call laughingly free speech. My friends, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. Subscribe to the channel. And now please listen to these incredible words from our incredible sponsor. Dark clouds are gathering as markets shudder. Stocks are sinking, currency stumbling, fear and uncertainty reign. The Middle East, Ukraine, Taiwan, the debt, it's endless. Yet one asset stands firm: gold. In crisis after crisis, gold is there in the background. Its enduring value guards against loss, like a missile shield against incoming. While paper wealth burns, gold persists. Shield your savings against looming threats: war, recession, contagion, and avoid the frenzied panic of the unprepared. Take control in the chaos. Fortune favors decisive action. Get hold of gold now before it's out of reach. And right now, Noble Gold Investments offers a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin with every new IRA. Claim your free coin today to secure your financial future. As this new storm gathers, panic looms. And some of the places you were thinking of for your money, well, they don't look so clever anymore. Secure your future against disaster now. Open a Noble Gold Investments IRA and claim your free bullion coin today. Go to LionelNationGold.com. That's LionelNationGold.com. LionelNationGold.com, the only gold company I trust. And remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind. There's no guarantee here either, my friends. Are you seeing what's going on? Are you digging this? Are you following this? I have been, ladies and gentlemen, stop. Eric Thaddeus Walters is our new member. A member, a badge that says to the world, I am a part of this movement. This this murmuration. Thank you, il professore. Where do I begin? To tell a story, Elon Musk is going nuts. Nuts. He's going after, he said, the split second Monday when the courts close, there will be a thermonuclear lawsuit against, it's going to be unbelievable. I love this man. I want you to understand something. Let me start off from this very, very important perspective. I think everything should be allowed. Everything. The things that are accepted, the items, the subject matter that is accepted, it goes without saying. Child sexual abuse material, libel, slander, all that kind of stuff. Trade secrets, national security, blah, 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 blah. You got it? Good. Now, my friends, what I ask is very simply this. It's a very, very simple point. A very, very simple question. Very, very, very simple question. I want you to imagine we have on this desk a series of overturned shot glasses, and each of them represent something different. And the first shot glass is the issue of Israel versus Hamas. That's the first one. And that means you can talk about the way the war is being played, the way it's being dealt with, the way it's all of the various issues that are attendant thereto, the way, etc., 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 etc. You got it? Good. Okay? Good. And you can talk about that however you want. You got that? Who's right, who's wrong, who's at fault, that's totally up to you. Completely up to you. You tell me. It doesn't matter. If however you want to read it, I respect your opinion. You don't have to answer in a particular way. I'm telling you, that's just whatever you think works fine with me, so be it. I don't care. Okay? That's number one. Number two, the issue then becomes, what do you do when people exhibit anti-Semitism? What do you do when you deal with people who exhibit anti-Semitism? What do you do? What do you do? And this is the part that is the most difficult for many of my friends. They look at me and they think, oh my God, I've abandoned ship. I said, well, let me ask you something. What do you do with people who exhibit racism, homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, heresy, whatever, leprosy, pleurisy? What? They say, are you trying to compare? Yes. What do we do when somebody exhibits an ideology we dislike and we disdain and we loathe? What do we do? What do we do? I'm asking you, what do we do? Ignore them. What do you do? What? What do you do? What do you do? You ignore them. You ignore them. What are you supposed to do? Take away that right to speak, obviously. Thank you. Very good, people. That's exactly right. What are you supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Arrest them? No. Now, let's take number one. Somebody who merely enunciates, merely speaks, merely says something. Racism, anti-Semitism, misogyny, blah, 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 blah. What are you supposed to do? Now, the moment somebody accompanies that particular ideology with physical violence, it's a different story. It's a different story altogether, my friends. It's a different story. We're not talking about it. We're talking about words. What do we do? What do you do with people? What do you do with people who at colleges and universities stand on, join forces and sign screeds and manifestos and bleating, braying, disquisitions on. What are you supposed to do? I don't know. I don't know. Do you agree with Bill Ackman? I was watching the Rising, or the Hill, or the Rising, and Brianna kept calling him Ackerman. God, that drove me crazy. Ackerman. It's Ackman. Anyway, the question is, he wants to have these people forever, ever, ever excluded from Wall Street, from whatever, because they have exhibited this. And I say, now wait a minute. First and foremost, that is your opinion. You may do this if you'd like. You may do this. You may yourself pick up the phone, call up whatever, because you're exhibiting and you're propounding and involving your particular free speech. And you could say, listen, I'm Bill Ackman. I'm a billionaire. I'm a hedge fund guy. And I think these people, okay, boycott. That's what happens. All right. All right. What else should you do? Should they be forever banned? Forever banned because of what they wrote? Because of what they wrote? Now, stop for 1 second. Stop. Stop. Put that aside. And I asked my friends this question. Okay. I want you to meet this hypothetical person. His name is Toby. And Toby believes that black people are genetically, phylogenetically, behaviorally inferior to white people because of a provided paucity, a diminution in cognition and the ability to think, that they are, let's assume somebody were to say they're insects or whatever. The same thing that people talk about Jews. And what do you think about that? Should they be allowed to go on and ply their wares? This vile racist. You see, it comes down to this. If it's something you particularly care about, then you will allow it. If not, okay. Why do people say this? I have no idea. How did they go from the Israel thing to hating? And some people hate Jews in Israel, hate. And some people hate Hamas. Hamas is different. And I'm sure some people, and they hate Palestinians. But stop. I want you to imagine my hypothetical man from outer space. I always talk about him. And I say, come here, let me ask you a question. The honey man is back. The honey man is back from his bambiectomy. Look at this thing pops up. Anyway. I would tell the person from outer space, listen, before you get a little bent out of shape about this thing called hate, may I show you something? Yes. These are the following people on airlines who hate mankind for reasons I have no idea. These people who are getting into riots hate everybody. They're at a McDonald's or an Arby's or a drive-through or a football game, and they're not even drunk. You see, we're at 11. We're at 11, okay? And that's where we live. We live in this world of 11. And that's the part that I find fascinating. Okay? And they live in this world. They live in this world that's so strange, so monumentally strange. You know what's interesting also I find fascinating is that I think, and this is just a hypothesis, so bear with me, but I believe that in some respects we have been for so long so cut off from human emotions, human relations, human reactions. We're always trying to dampen ourselves with drugs and pharmaceuticals and psychotropics and antidepressants and all kinds of stuff. And we think nothing of it. Nothing. It absolutely means nothing to us. It means nothing. It means it's a, and we have been inside for so long. We don't have relationships anymore. We don't have any. We don't really do much of anything. We don't really care about anything, and we don't know how to react, and we don't know what to do, and we just don't know. And sometimes I think we overreact, and we just go berserk by virtue of this lunacy. Have you ever heard of the term retcon? How you retcon? Anybody hear that term? It's not. It's about 20 years old, and it deals with the idea of retconning. Is called retroactive continuity. It means to revise retrospectively, typically by introducing a piece of new information that imposes a different interpretation on previously described events. And they're doing it now as they're talking about kind of they're retconning UBL, Osama bin Laden and the like. You got that? You got that? And they're doing it because of a variety of reasons, because they're saying that young people now for the first time are reading and understanding what he said, and perhaps they're finding some acceptance of it. I'm not really sure. In any event, so here's my question, and I've thrown a lot at you, and this goes back. So what? That's not a question. It's a statement. So what? What is the matter with us? We've lost sense of our emotions, our reality. We're constantly seeking some form of drug therapy or something to dampen, to redirect, to affect, to limit, to minimize, to redirect, reconstruct, refidget our ways of thinking. We just don't know anymore. We just don't know anything. We're overreacting to everything. So somebody said the other day, now listen to this. Are you with me? Good. We lived in a country where I think it was Netflix, maybe, portrayed and even had somebody act out and read the Unabomber's manifesto. Anybody complain about that? Nope. He, by the way, the subject of MK Ultra himself, he will tell you all about that. Psychiatric. Okay. Let me say this again. They published his manifesto in the New York Times, I believe, or the Washington Post, and people read it. They read it. Now, somebody says, well, that's a little different. Why is that different? Well, because this is UBL. And he wrote this, what, a year after? A year after, if he read it. And by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if he wrote about it. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't write it. If it was some intel, some spook somewhere wrote it, and it was just like we had that woman who claimed, oh, yeah, they were pulling babies out of incubators. Come on. How much bullshit can you go through the rest of your life before you realize, okay, all right. I don't believe anything. But anyway, when I mean I don't believe it, that means I need proof to verify such. All right. Do you see where we are with this? They're actually talking about wanting to stop TikTok. I don't care. Well, China owns TikTok. So what? You better learn to like China, because China's going to own everything. Well, China spies. We spy. Everybody spies. What's the matter with you? No, but you understand. China's different. China's evil. We're evil. How many military bases around the world does China have? How many places do we have? How many atom bombs have they set? Stop this. Stop this. The United States is one of the most, by definition, one of the most evil countries that's ever lived. Now, I think, I'm sorry, I take the Mearsheimer view. You know, there's anarchy and hierarchy, and it is the nature of human beings and countries to be number one. Our good friend Eric lives in Rome, in Italy, Italia. And they would love to be number one. They would love to be. And maybe they are in some respects, but they're not going to be number one in terms of military or whatever. They're just not. But they would love to. They would give anything. China wants to be us. We want to be us. We want to be. It's the way it is. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. Ladies and gentlemen, Turd Ferguson says pesky patriots pamphleteering, common sense commonly read, anti-federalists abounding, Publius publishing propaganda, no problem. Queen Namada III's de-anonymizing declaration has you uncovered. Thank you, Turd. Thank you. That, of course, was Norm Macdonald's character on the Jeopardy, which, by the way, was a ripoff of SCTV, which is the greatest comedy ensemble ever. SCTV. Thank you, Turd. Mohong, rather, excuse me. Thank you. Now, what are we going to do with Elon? Do you hear about his plane blew up? His rocket? Do you see where his rocket blew up? Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe they did that on purpose. I know what you're thinking. I know you. I know what you think. Anybody think there's any possibility of that? I have no information. Would it surprise you if you found out, hey, it was like a Nord Stream boom? Anybody? Anybody actually remember that? Ooh, remember this? Anybody? By the way, Norm was a fan of SCTV. Sure, he was being referenced, but it was a complete and total ripoff, as it were. Okay. Now, my friends, another thing too is, anybody worried about Thanksgiving coming up? Anybody worried about Thanksgiving? Anybody having to deal with relatives Thanksgiving? It's a very stressful time next week. Very stressful. Anybody feeling the stress? Anybody feeling the stress? Anybody feeling like, oh, God? Huh? Anybody? Anybody feeling the, oh, dear Lord? Dear Lord. Anybody? Huh? Think about it. Think about it. Anybody worried about this? You're going to be dealing with people again. They're going to be asking you questions. What are you doing? Everybody ask you questions about things? It's a very, 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 very stressful time being with families. You ever do that? Your families can be very, very stressful. Anybody have any insane families? People that are just demented? People you got to be like, oh my God. Anybody? Anybody? One of these days, remember, they're all going to be dead. And some you will miss and some you won't. And that's the way that goes. But I have the hardest time trying to deal with people and trying to tell people repeatedly that what they have to do is to understand that what's going on right now, if you're missing the point, what is happening right now involving Israel is absolutely shape-shifting. Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention, listen carefully. Please subscribe to this channel, like these videos, and listen carefully to our friends about what would ever happen if there was a food interruption. All right, fellow patriot, let's talk about My Patriot Supply, the country's largest preparedness company. And it is more than equipped to stock your shelves in times of emergency. You can ditch the canned vegetables in the box, pasta and the banana chips and the jerky. Their best-selling 3-month food kit provides delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years. Now, these meals offer over 2,000 calories every day, with a balance of protein and carbs to keep you fed and ready to go in the event of an emergency. Just add water and heat, then eat. Start or strengthen your food supply with this 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. So go to preparewithlionel.com to get ready. Preparewithlionel.com. I'm going to say it again. Preparewithlionel.com. Go now. And I know you will. I know you will. Let's take it easy, my friend. It's what, Saturday night? What's everybody doing tonight? Anybody got a big date? Let's talk about you for a moment. Who right now is lonely and looking for love in all the wrong places? Who right now? Who are we talking to right now? Seriously, anybody right now who says, I wish I could have somebody. I wish I am a lonely person. And there's nothing wrong with that. Who? Let's talk. Enough with the seriousness. Anybody? because I would love one day to bring some of you fine people together. Wouldn't it be great if we had a Lionel Nation family kind of a meeting? Anybody? 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 I'm reading this. Great time to be a silent witness. I don't know what this means. Who right now? Right? Seriously, I'm serious. Saturday night. This used to be this big event. Wouldn't that be something if we could all get together, all of us somehow figure out this thing? Lionel Con. I love that. Imagine what that would be like. Imagine walking up to people and saying, "Who are you? You're so and so," because we see sometimes little, like sparky little dog. I see a little thumbnail. I don't know who these people are. Isn't that something? Isn't that an amazing kind of a deal, so to speak? Isn't that something? When you hear, I remember when I used to hear people on the radio, when I kind of liked the radio, when it was fun in the old days, and then it got to be weird. I would think to myself, there were people that I kind of liked. And by the way, the cutting room, February 3rd might be the best place. Because by the way, when I do this, I say hello to everybody. Anybody who's been there, I shake hands with everybody there. These people who go and they say, thank you, and they take off. I don't get this. Whether you want to see, we'll take pictures, we talk, we everything. It's different. February 3rd. It's just around the corner. But when I was a youngster, when Saturday Night Live came about, somebody told me one time that one of the reasons why it was such an important show was that on Saturday nights, remember the loneliest night of the week, people would sometimes feel bad about not about staying home, but it gave you a reason to stay home. I think one of the things that we need that people are lonely. I kind of joke about this. In fact, there was one doctor, the current Surgeon General, said that loneliness affects some people more than smoking. And Kathy Hochul, our governor, just appointed Dr. Ruth as the honorary ambassador against loneliness. So I think that's a very sad thing. Loneliness is a tough thing. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Lionel Dating app. This is find love on Lionel. Swipe, match, connect. Your perfect match is just a click away. Join Lionel, where meaningful connections begin. Before I slither into the next realm of reality, I want to meet you, sir or madam, for this incredible genius and beneficence as the way. Okay? Now, I get anxious around people I don't know. I think Howie Brown says it best. I'm lonely, but I'm at peace. I like that. What does lonely mean? Lonely means you need someone. You need people. You need. Do you remember that song, Barbara Streisand? People who need people are the luckiest people in the world is such bullshit. I don't know where they got that from, but in my later years, becoming misanthropic, I do not like people. I for the very rarely do I find somebody who I think most people aren't very curious. They're not exactly my cup of tea. And I was far more, I think when I was maybe younger, I was far more accepting, gregarious. I don't know what the particular word is, but now I don't like people. Someone writes, I like animals better than humans. Animals, in some respects, and I will never understand this, animals are superior to humankind. Why must they speak in order to be considered on our level? They can't paint, they can't create the Louvre, but we can't smell. Do you know what it's like to smell like a dog? Not to have that funk, but to be able to have the olfactory sense of a dog, for you to smell like people think. is to me one of the, when dogs do that little nose thing, and they have in their olfactory, in their nasal canals, they have more surface area. They, when I was a prosecutor years ago, I think I told you the story. There was a case involving a young lady, a girl, African American girl who was with her family, and a guy came in to their. They were kind of remote, sort of. They were kind of a rural setting, nice family, but. And this creep came in, and she had bunk beds with her sister. And while she was sleeping, this guy came in through the window, fondled her, and then out the window. And they wanted to catch this bastard. Look at this. Eric says, "You warm my passionately cold, dead heart." Yes. I think, who was it? Cold, dead heart. Isn't that a cold, cold heart? Hank Williams. Thank you for that, sir. So as this fellow left, they called the deputy. And the deputy came at the time with his tracking dog. And make a long story short, they found the guy. So I was doing the case at the time, I was prosecuting, and I had to speak with him to find out what happened, to get the case and all this stuff. So he called me and he says, "Do you mind if I bring I think I told you the story. He says, do you mind if I bring the dog in with me?" I said, "Of course. Can't leave it in the car in Florida when it's hot." So he brought this dog in, and we had these very small offices, very small. And it was like, oh my God, it was this, whoa, ho. I said, "Did you ever wash this thing?" My eyes were watering. He says, "Oh no, it's a tracker." I said, "Well, what does that mean?" He says, "Well, the dog will brush up against, it can smell where it's been, so it doesn't go around in circles." I said, "I didn't know that." He says, "Yes." I said, "Well, tell me what happened." He says, "Well, we went there, lined the family up, and the dog was very, very nice, but they're kind of like saying, 'Here's a cop with a police dog.'" And I said, "Oh." And they said, no, it's not an attack dog. It's a smell. And they were very, very nice. He says, "He just wants to smell you. So he doesn't look for you. He wants to know, exclude these smells," which I thought was just, oh my God. So he lines up mom, dad, two sisters, and the little girl. And he said, "Okay, got it. You don't want me to look for these, right? Don't look for those because they're here." That's right. Then they go to the window where the guy came through. I don't know if he pulled the chain or whatever the particular phrase was. He let the dog know, "Now, this is the guy we're after." The dog got it. And off they went into the night. And they're on leaves, and the dog's sniffing around. The guy's out there, and each dog has its own way of alerting. Some will bark. This one just stood up. And after, I don't know, a mile, half a mile, whatever it was, after a good long slog through the woods, the dog stops. So the deputy takes his flashlight, holds it out so that the person, if he has a gun, he's going to shoot for the light, which is over here. And he looks, and there's nothing. And looks at the dog. He says, "Come on, man. Come on, Fido. You're, by the way, Fido, fidelity, faithful." Anyway, he says, "Come on. What are you're losing it." And the dog looks at him like, "I told you. He's there." So he did it again. He got to pull the chain, and then finally these leaves moved, and there was a sound of rustling, and this guy gets up and goes like that. "Got me." Now he looked at him like, He says, "I know you can't believe this," and dogs don't really have a lot of facial expressions, but the dog looked at me like, "You son of a..." Doubting me? Now, what that dog did blew my mind. Blew my mind. How does it do that? It's incredible. When a dog can smell cancers, when a dog can smell the onset of epilepsy, when the dog can smell the onset of PTSD reactions by smelling some particular chemical or something that's given off in the perspiration or whatever, and it goes and it lays, I guess, on top of the subject, its master, mistress, whatever. It just makes you cry. It's the most incredible thing in the world. The most incredible thing. Look at this. The stray cat I was feeding for several years was poisoned by Meow Mix cat food during COVID. Oh my God. Oh my God. Dogs and cats are definitely smarter than we know. That is true. Um, Malicious and vicious Sasha Noam Baron Cohen, who won censorship on Netanyahu's war crimes, is not funny and was never funny. I cannot believe how somebody like he does that. Steve says, my cat used to kill rabbits and bring them to me as offerings. Oh, yes, yes. I had a cat. Cats were very interesting. I had a cat one time who brought me tails and entrails from mice. And he'd say, hey, thanks a lot. Very, very, very interesting. Look at this. I've been traveling in my camper van for over a year, haven't been lonely. Good for you. In fact, a while back, PK, there was a story of young people, millennials, who themselves were retrofitting and making homes out of campers and the like, which is fascinating. We need to bring back chivalry and honor, respect of person. Indeed, we do. I'm waiting for Sparky to chime in. That's right. Hound dogs smell. Oh, yes. Hound dogs are wonderful. Absolutely. Absolutely. Indeed. So, anyway, my friends, and I hope everybody's good tonight. I have had today was a very, 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 very interesting day. Very interesting. That's all I will say to you. Very interesting. And I do not like the fact that it gets so dark. So like 5 o'clock, it's dark. Something happens to me psychically. Not good. Not good at all. I absolutely respond negatively to that. All right. You got that? You got what I'm saying? Okay. One more thing. Let me not forget. Let me remind you of a couple of things. Please do me a favor. Don't forget our dear friend. Don't forget our dear friend. Hang on a minute. Where the hell is this? Oh, yes. My dear friends at My Pillow. Don't forget Mr. Lindell. Mike Lindell. God bless him. Don't forget mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Ladies and gentlemen, you are the reason God made Oklahoma. I thank you for this. Any further questions? Any comments? I think we should break up a little early tonight. It's Saturday night. I'm going to watch some good, interesting TV. We love, Mrs. L and I love to watch weird YouTube. We saw some weird travel channels that were fantastic. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Lonely Lionel's Bar and Grill. Sip, savor, and celebrate at Lonely Lionel's Bar and Grill. Unleash the flavor. Join the party. Subscribe for a feast of fun. Hashtag Lonely Lionel. Again, my friends, this is a genius. And I mean this. How I want to meet you and shake your paw for the inimitable genius that you have exposed heretofore. And I mean that sincerely, dear friends. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. Lonely Lionel's, thank you. Eric Thaddeus Walters, thank you. My friend Lionel Dating app, thank you. Turd Ferguson, and thank you for you and yours. Whatever that means, I don't know what that means for you. Thank you for you and yours. What kind of English is it? I have no earthly idea. But I thank you nonetheless. Have a great and a glorious day. Please be well. Please be safe. Please do something fun. Be good to yourself. Love yourself. Do something fun. Listen to music. Music will pull you out of whatever funk you are in. It works wonders for me. All right, my friend, until tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Don't forget these final words, this final sayonara, this adios, this, not denouement, but this coda, so to speak. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dead.